Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Koro More Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Nearly 2 years after the release of my feature-length documentary on the birth of Bhakti Vriksha in the Middle East, I am asked to show that this approach, originally sketched by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, may be the way forward for ISKCON's global outreach. In the next film we're working on, I'm on my way to England, where Bhakti Vriksha has already made some headways. The question is asked, is this program for Indians, or can it also work with everyone? I remain to be convinced myself, and this film will have to convince the world of ISKCON, first of all, that Bhakti Vriksha is the way forward. Prabhu, what is your perception of this new approach to outreach, the Bhakti Vriksha approach?
The Bhakti Vriksha team have been here in the man of vicinity for many, many years, and really I want to applaud the teams that have been working here. Why? Because, you know, these are individuals that have daily pressures of work, of looking after their families. But in between all of that, they are very busy in their Bhakti Vriksha programs every week to invite new people to come and participate within the actual program in itself. And they've been so successful over the years that I think they've grown phenomenally in the little groups that they have. And of course, their zeal to preach to others is a phenomenal aspect as well, which I find very useful in a temple of this size.
A 3-hour drive from London, I meet the GBC representative for the UK between 2 flights from Spain to Ireland.
It's doing very well. From the point of view of the number of groups, the amount of people participating, and some of those groups developing into centres, I think it's going very well, actually.
Bhakti Vriksha has been really an inspirational program. The way in which Bhakti Vriksha is able to attract new people to Krishna consciousness and then wonderfully integrate them with the temple and the various activities of services from book distribution to temple cooking. Bhakti Vriksha has really been an amazing contributor.
I'm driven to Reading, a suburban town west of London, halfway to Oxford, to visit a thriving Bhakti Vriksha community.
We came first time to Reading in 2011. So when I came out of the station, I was thinking, like, I don't know any soul here. Krishna, what am I going to do? There was the Namahata there for more than 20 years. They were doing book distribution regularly and every week give the class. So many have come, but they were not able to retain them. And then when they did book distribution, they gave us the contacts.
Really, they've attracted the Indian community so far. But now they need to go out and reach the local Western people, and that will require a lot of tweaking of how we do things.
Whether it's Bhakti Vriksha or any other form of outreach, the simple fact is that the Indian diaspora, they have a natural affinity for the cultural aspects of Krishna consciousness, and therefore it's that much easier for them to actually cross over and get involved.
So I think the approach will need to change if we are to cultivate the local English people in the UK, because they have a different psychology altogether.
So Becky and I met at university in 2007, and so she's seen through attending the Bhakti Vriksha program such benefit in her friends' lives.
Do you see any coming close to becoming leaders themselves?
Yes, from credible positions in society with inherent leadership qualities, chanting 16 rounds or showing a desire to chant 16 rounds every day. So of the core group of 5 or 6 that are attending weekly, they could all be Bhakti Vriksha leaders within 12 months.
Presently, I think they're just beginning on that, and they've started in their own way with a few individuals, But to actually roll it out on a mass scale will need a strategy, and that's something that we have experienced over 40 years of being here at the Manor. To get those Westerners to come, I believe in the region of about 3,000 Westerners do come to the Manor, and our approach is very different for them.
What's keeping it from happening now?
Just time.
What makes you believe that?
It's a system and there's a syllabus to it. It's kept simple and there's no costs, I guess because the people attending can see me learning and making mistakes as I grow as well. I think that gives them confidence to be able to go and and do it themselves eventually when they're ready.
The Bhakti Vriksha program is actually very informal, and I think the informality of that program helps people to connect to it. At the same time, and the system that they have, the 64 sessions and going through each program that they have, going through different stages of our practice and devotional activity, is very much walking the walk. It's practicing what we preach.
The care and the time that's been put into me and that example that's been set, I'm confident and excited about providing others with that same level of support and love and care.
It's living it, and the enthusiasm is there, the informality is there, and that package, I think, put all together, is a very successful package.
How many sessions have you attended so far?
28 sessions.
And is that enough for you to start becoming a leader yourself?
I am not sure about myself, just Amala Mataji and Phil Prabhuze saying that I am ready.
Aushra has been attending. She knows the sequence, what needs to be done, everything. She will help Phil in Phil's Bhakti Vriksha. We are witnessing here that even though she is from Lithuania and with not much confidence about speaking in English, but now we can see that she is able to take responsible services and she is ready to run a Bhakti Vriksha.
First, don't you have to complete 64 sessions?
Yes, I would like to complete all sessions.
My host for the night is a couple from New Delhi who settled in Reading. Sometimes Bhakti Vriksha members in one part of the world find fellow members as if by chance where they are moving to.
My name is Pooja. I did my full Bhakti Vriksha course in Delhi, India, and then I moved to England, and I was so surprised that there was a Bhakti Vriksha near to my area. I again feel there is a family, devotees nearby.
One of the ways this family feeling is sustained in local areas is regular satsangas, where new contacts and senior ISKCON members alike are personally invited.
Who's living outside of Reading? Maidenhead, Bracknell, Wokingham. Our guest here, Vyasaki Prabhu and his wife, Kaishori.
So many years ago, Bhaktivinoda Thakur revived Lord Chaitanya's movement and codified a system through which people in every town and village could take up the chanting of Hare Krishna and the following of Krishna's instructions. Now ISKCON's Congregational ministry has formed the Bhakti Vriksha program that can spread to every town and village. Take up this process of Bhakti Vriksha. It is the most effective and wonderful system to help people come closer to Krishna and actually live in Krishna's instructions.
As you know, Bhakti Vriksha started particularly with the initiative of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He established around 500 groups, and his focus was on small groups. How to train them, how to take care of them, how to empower them. He traveled tirelessly in those days, doing workshops, seminars, giving personal advice, and helping to establish this Bhakti Vriksha concept. Now we have manual, we have different modules, we have training, and we see how these results are bringing fruits all around the world.
Bhakti Vriksha is not only authorized, but it's also recommended by the GBC and by ISKCON law. ISKCON temples should try to annually double their congregation by training and empowering the congregation through small local Namahata Bhakti Vriksha groups. Sometimes the issue is that the local temples, because they have not invested time, sufficient energy in building the Bhakti Vriksha, they feel a little bit sidelined. And the Bhakti Vriksha leaders also sometimes hesitate to give the program to the temple administrations because it is a sophisticated machinery. It's built on a network of supervision, oversight, and someone who has not been trained in the Bhakti Vriksha dynamics may not be the best person to lead the whole project.
I remember we had one where a doctor was actually leading the Namhata, and it tended to be that there was a high percentage of people from the medical profession that used to come to his programs. And then I remember we had a chap leading a Namhata who was a biker. He had his Harley Davidson and all his leathers and all that kind of stuff. And funnily enough, a lot of people who used to come to his Namhata were bikers. So I think birds of a feather flock together. So depending on who's leading the Bhakti Vriksha groups will determine to some degree who comes along. They have to try follow in the footsteps of Prabhupada and cross over the divide to attract other nationalities too.
In 1996, a Russian devotee by the name of Angira Muni Das made history by taking the Bhakti Vriksha principle to Moscow.
So in the 1996, I made first attempt to start Bhakti Vriksha in Moscow. That time we do not have any program, we do not have modules, materials, it was just an idea. And after 1 year we multiplied this first group. And in the beginning of 2009, we get about 50 groups just from these two initial groups. Now in Moscow we have about 140 Bhakti Vriksha groups. In St. Petersburg, in Ekaterinburg, there are more than 40 Bhakti Vrikshas. In some other cities there are 30 Bhakti Vrikshas, 20 Bhakti Vrikshas. Altogether in Russia we have now about 500 Bhakti Vriksha groups.
I thought I'd misheard the figure. To be sure, I double-checked with another Russian pioneer. So how many groups do you have now in Russia?
Like we have more than 140 groups of Bhakti Vriksha only in Moscow, and all over the Russia about 500 groups.
This young lady is a prominent pioneer of the Bhakti Vriksha development in former Soviet Union.
Hare Krishna, I'm from Moscow. I joined devotees through Bhakti Vriksha program, and mainly I was 15 years old. I passed first original group of Angira Muni, and after 1 year and a half, maybe 2 years maximum, I asked I want to open my group. Even our original group didn't finish yet.
Many of the students who are coming to these Bhakti Vriksha programs, they're so enthusiastic that even before they finish the 64 stages, they're wanting to go out and start their own Bhakti Vriksha group.
In the same week, I have a new group in my house. Every single day I have some ghosts, some book distribution, I was doing something. This group also multiply, and finally, like after maybe maximum 6 years, I become chakra leader. I have under me 9 or 10 groups.
Bhakti Vriksha is my hobby. I am a professional magician in the world of entertainment and travel around the world doing shows, magic shows in Southeast Asia, Europe, and North America, South America. And in my free time, what I love the most, my passion is doing Bhakti Vriksha.
Many of these devotees move to different places or different countries. and open groups also.
I've been servant of her, secretary of her, trying to help her in the Bhakti Vriksha, whatever I can do with my poor Russian.
If you know one devotee from France, his name Pierre, Premamaya Vasudev, his spiritual name now. Like 6-8 months, he was visiting group, start chanting his rounds and singing during the program. And after some time, I asked them to open new group in the apartments. From this group, we have very good leaders now.
But what happens then? The watchers also started to do Bhakti Vriksha, like Ukraine, Belarus, Kazakhstan, like in Germany, England, Israel, and now even in the United States.
Hare Krishna. So my journey with Bhakti Vriksha is that I literally grew up with it. You know, I would see my parents doing Bhakti Vriksha program at their home, but at the same time it felt like even I could get involved with the children, and I would conduct similar children's groups with the Bhakti Vriksha format, have discussion-oriented programs and with the children.
In 2000, I was introduced to the Bhakti Vriksha system in Bangalore. After my marriage, we actually moved to San Jose.
In San Jose, we established 8 groups there, and in 2002 we went to Houston, and we've been there since then, and we established the Bhakti Vriksha there as well.
So far there are about 17 Bhakti Vriksha groups in Houston.
And that involves about how many people?
250 people. And then there are 4 groups which are for Westerners.
We were thinking, does Bhakti Vriksha really work in Argentina? Is it proper for this country or not? We tried with a group of devotees to start a group, but somehow or other we didn't get any results. And in 2011, coming here to Mayapur and to India, I met my good wife, Premavati Chitra. Hard work of Prema Padmini Mataji, Vijay Venugopal, and Angira Muni Prabhu. They apply Bhakti Vriksha principles very good and start blossom like flowers everywhere.
Mi nombre es Prema Rupa Madhavadas y soy de Argentina. We are doing Bhakti Vriksha for the last 3.5 years. So we take people from Sankirtan, Harinam, Food for Life. We invite them to our house. We have some outreach programs like Harinam, Food for Life, and also we do Yoga Fest.
So what has Bhakti Vriksha done for you?
Bhakti Vriksha changed my life.
And how has it done?
Like, after my house was like Grihastha place, and that's it. And now it's like a preaching center where a lot of devotees, 3 times a week, we have.
And your house is big enough for so many devotees?
Yes, now yes. When we start, it was a little department, but now, thanks Krishna, it gives us a very big house, beautiful.
My observation is that Bhakti Vriksha can be built in 4 different ways. The first way is when the temple gives full attention, invests energy, manpower and time to build these groups, to lead the groups. If the temple is like a house, the Bhakti Vriksha, which is compared to a tree, will be like a tree inside the house, a tree in the courtyard of the house. Another way is the Bhakti Vriksha is not built by the efforts of the temple. They may act cooperatively together. The Bhakti Vriksha members can participate in festivals or book distribution marathons and so on and so forth. But there are 2 different administrations. One example of that could be Moscow, Russia, where the Bhakti Vriksha was built not by the effort of the temples and it became a force to reckon with. At the same time, there was a lot of cooperation. A third way, of course, the Bhakti Vriksha develops without the presence of a temple, maybe in a country of the Middle East. And so you can visualize a tree, but there are no houses around. So the tree, in that case, is the local ISKCON. And a fourth way of relation between Bhakti Vriksha and temple, at one stage of development, when there are enough devotees, enough resources, and enough desire, is the Bhakti Vriksha who establishes a temple.
We have to move ahead together, because apart from the Bhakti Vrikshas, we do also have Bhakti Sanghas, we have Namahatas, which are Western based, we have other smaller groups that are also existing in the countries. So all of them need to live in harmony. But the one aim is how to get our message across to the respective audience, and to do it in a cooperative spirit so ISKCON doesn't become fragmented.
In fact, every Sunday, two Bhakti Vriksha groups combine together and serve the Sunday feast, because there's a congregation of about 500 people who come every Sunday. On festivals, there are thousands of people. So these Bhakti Vriksha groups combine, two groups combine together and take charge of serving the entire feast, setting up for the devotees and everything else.
Bhakti Vriksha devotees are somewhat separate from the temple?
No, they are not separate. We cook there in the temple, but it's a program that we distribute and is organized by devotees from the congregation.
They all come regularly here to the manor to help, not just in our festivals, which are Janmashtami, Ram Navami, Diwali, whatever they are, they will be here to assist in that, but they also take part in the Sunday feast here as well, cooking once every 4 or 5 weeks. And you know, we get up to 4,000 to 5,000 people here on a Sunday, so that's a lot of cooking that needs to be done.
The temple is the root of the Bhakti Vriksha tree. All the members feel that this is my temple, and when that feeling comes, they want to contribute to the temple in terms of services and also financially.
Advaita Chandra Prabhu and Kalasuda Mataji enlivened our entire congregation with their presentation. It was practical, fun, everyone was riveted for 2 days. Take this seminar, it will change your whole temple community for the better.
His Grace Mahatma Prabhu is a young devotee, started his spiritual life in Bhakti Vriksha, and now we are very happy for him because he became the temple president of Buenos Aires, and he's supporting strongly Bhakti Vriksha in Argentina.
You mean he came as a result of the training?
Yeah, we met him in the temple and we invite him to our group, and he came a couple of months and he decided to surrender to Krishna, and now he's the temple president.
Rupa Madhava and Prema Rupini Devidasi, they did what looked like impossible in the past, like is to multiply.
We at the Congregational Development Ministry promote different outreach programs to bring in new people, programs to cultivate them, and systems to train new devotees. So we find that the Bhakti Vriksha system, they have everything to contact new people, to take care of them, to train them, and to do the same themselves with new people once again. So it's a complete cycle.
A person who is a householder has the duty to spread Krishna consciousness at home. As far as possible, he should call his friends and neighbors to his house. So Srila Prabhupada's conception of home-based devotees, of congregational devotees, was this: create a group with neighbors, colleagues, relatives, friends at home. Actually, Srila Prabhupada used the word duty, which is a very substantial word. When these new people also advance in Krishna consciousness, they will do the same. And so there you have the seed of this idea of small groups that multiply by creating new leaders.
You know, many people used to think that if you implement Bhakti Vriksha outside India, it'll be just for Indians. And we always felt that the principles of Bhakti Vriksha are so universal that it can actually be applied anywhere to any community.
Also in 2012 we had the opportunity to travel with Her Grace Mataji Prema Padmini, and we went to Brazil. Now we are very happy to announce that in Brazil we have 30 groups of Bhakti Vriksha.
And devotees moved from here to other countries from Bhakti Vriksha. In Congo, tribal people chant and dance very enthusiastically. No Indians are not in that place. This was only one family of Bhakti Vriksha leader.
Like now in Israel, they have about 6 Bhakti Vriksha groups. Rasika Shikatra, he is from Israel, from Tel Aviv.
Preaching in the center of Israel, and this was about 2.5 years ago when I started my Bhakti Vriksha. My groups started to go to some kirtan with me, and this is much more impressive than just distributing books on your own. Now my group have multiplied and they started their own Bhakti Vrikshas. And also we are working on translating the Bhakti Vriksha to Hebrew.
My name is Srivas Das. I'm the Zonal Supervisor for West Africa. West Africa comprises of 16 countries. The time is ripe for the Bhakti Vriksha program to come on. It's like we have planted a lot of seeds, and the Bhakti Vriksha program will be the program for harvesting these seeds. So therefore, it is necessary for Vijay Venugopal Prabhu and his wife to come, train devotees in this Bhakti Vriksha program to enable them harvest all these seeds and fruits that have been planted over the years.
Before the technical word of Bhakti Vriksha came about, these groups were named as love and trust groups. In the beginning, all they relate to is how much accepting you are to them. Then they reciprocate, they want to know more about you, and Bhakti Vriksha is based on these principles.
And its model of keeping groups small, this core principle of friendship amongst the devotees and relationships based on love and trust. Bhakti Vriksha has definitely kept this as a cardinal principle, which is surely one of the reasons why it has been a greatly successful program.
We have many programs going on, like Namahata, Harinam, etc. But I think Bhakti Vriksha is the biggest project. We can see, like, from past 7 years, it's become huge.
Well, on a Sunday feast, there are about 400 devotees. I would say 50% are Bhakti Vriksha devotees.
What percentage of Indians versus non-Indians?
We have 17 Bhakti Vriksha groups, of which 4 are Westerners. Almost 20% Chinese people. We have, African Americans. We have Caucasian, sharing spirituality with others.
Since last 3 years, we are coming #1 in book distribution of Congregational. Last year, we did 5,000 books. Then last year, then 10,000 books. And this year, then 20,000 books. So, in this way, the man is very, very happy that we're helping to increase the book distribution. But on a manner, outside India, is the #1 temporary book distribution by support of Bhakti Vriksha.
My experience so far is that when the leaders invest time and energy into Bhakti Vriksha, they have always received much more in return.
Namahatas, Bhakti Vrikshas, Bhakti Sanghas, they all have their strengths and weaknesses. All of them are needed because I believe there's different types of audiences and not everyone can come every week to a function. And the wisdom perhaps of all of these groups can come together in a unified system which will help here in the UK.
We have been anxiously waiting for such a training program to take place in West Africa. So if any person who has the knowledge, who has the experience to guide devotees in this field of Bhakti Vriksha program is most welcome, because we want to get this program rolling in West Africa so that we can bring in more people.
And I'm reminded of a quote from Srila Prabhupada. They can't wait to finish work today and get to the pub. And Prabhupada was connecting that with devotees, that when their taste is as strong as the taste for the person who wants to get a drink, that's when we'll be successful in Krishna consciousness.